The most powerful moment in Better Call Saul Season 6, Episode 6. This episode was a slow burner for sure. Maybe the slowest, but it definitely felt as though it was laying down the foundations for what could be an explosive final episode, which is being referred to as D-Day. But what was the most powerful moment in this episode? Well, let's find out. Here is the most powerful moment in Better Call Saul Season 6, Episode 6. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. Usually with each episode, there are a few moments that stand out as being extremely impactful in terms of the ante being upped, the character performance, or visual execution on screen. However, I felt with this one it was quite hard to pick from due to there not being that many. One moment that could have been the most powerful out of them all could have been the final moment that occurred in the episode, the part where Jimmy and Kim were all set for D-Day, and were toasting to the success that they were predicting to have, all for it to be dropped abruptly when Jimmy noticed Casimiro, who was a crucial part to their plan, had broken his arm, which was something he noticed only by chance in the queue of a store. This impacted their wider plan in the sense that it meant that the lookalike that they hired to play Casimiro in a damaging situation would not hold up if it were to be used against Howard due to there being no broken arm in their evidence. The sheer panic on Jimmy's face and him sitting in the car slamming the steering wheel was a moment where you could really sense the anger, frustration, disappointment, and fear that he now had about the plan taking place. It was a moment that was executed really well and had weight and impact to the story. But it's not what I believed was the most powerful out of them all. The moment that I believe was the most powerful in this episode occurred towards the end of it. It was at the point where we saw Mike arriving back at a secret location, which his family didn't know about. We saw him pick up the phone, speak with his granddaughter, and look up at the stars. Afterwards, he spoke to his daughter and he went on to mention how they'll do the exact same thing the next day. I thought this was powerful for a number of different reasons. Prior to this, we saw Mike state that he'd taken security off of his house, due to the fact that he thought it was better to distribute resources, based on the threat and the fact that he's never at his home address. Whilst he was on the phone to his granddaughter, we saw a side to Mike that we don't often get to see. A kind, loving, caring, and human side to him. We often see the cold, tough exterior, and you could see the emotion behind what he was saying. Then once he got off the phone to his daughter, we saw her reveal how she didn't know the true location of where he was, and that he was keeping his location a secret. He was doing this so that his family wouldn't be impacted by any of the situations that he was tied up in. But what was most powerful about this was the fact that you could sense the pain and despair in his eyes as he was watching his family from a window in a room across the street through a pair of binoculars, and you could feel his want to be with them and for him to be able to keep them out of harm's way. It really shone through. Mike is often a tough character, the toughest of them all, but seeing him at a point of not necessarily breaking, but seeing more emotions from him shows a sign that the fear of the unknown could also be getting to him. He's been reassuring Gus constantly, and maybe it's finally rubbed off on him slightly. It was a powerful moment that definitely stood out in this episode for sure. What do you think the most powerful moment in episode 6 was? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.